much of this.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is the Chat Batch. It is a new year. Happy New Year to you. If you're here live or if you're watching on the replay, aka in the future, I'm Jamie. We have Gaz Nottingham here. We have Peter here. We have Mr. Matthew Stokes here. We have Jane Flakes here. We still have Mr. Matthew Stokes here. We still have Peter here as well. Powder Guild is in the house. Clays is here as well. And some guy called Chad Campbell, Chad the Stopwatch Campbell, who, to be honest, you might be hearing a bit of from this stream today, where we're going to talk about the Bad Batch episodes 1 through to 4. That's how I'm doing it for this season run. I can take questions on that later, but we'll get on with things for now. We will be back on a weekly basis for The Mandalorian, so don't you worry about that. But I think for the Bad Batch, we'll do drop-in streams every 3 to 4 episodes. And the aforementioned Chad Campbell is joining us live for this discussion. So if you're here in the chat, get involved. Give us your thoughts as we go through the episodes from episode 1 through to 4, and in the comments if you're watching on the replay. Hello to Anders Lay, who's joined us as well. So I think Chad is a great guest to have for particularly talking about the Bad Batch, because Chad is... He has been known to go on his rants, Star Wars-related rants, but generally, when it comes to the animated stuff, whether it be Rebels, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, he seems to be in his happy place. So I think he's a good man to have here, coming from a good place of passion. As some of you know, with the animated Star Wars, I like it. I'm here. Hi, I've turned up 4 episodes later, but it's not my number one. You know, I'm more of a live action guy, but. We're going to get into that deeper now. So let's bring in Chad, who you might well know from the channel. You should also, the stopwatch is out already. You should know that Chad, when he's in the chat, he does do his best to try and keep us to a 30-minute, nice, clean and tidy stream. Usually we fail, particularly when he's actually joined the streams live as well. He's contributed to that failure. But if you don't know Chad, he's a regular contributor to the channel, supporter of the channel, and also does his own stuff out there on YouTube with the Alamo Studio and Star Wars Lunch Special podcast, which I've linked to both separately in the video description. So, Chad, do you want to add to that introduction?
No, that was fantastic. No, I think that was great. Yeah, Alamo Studio. I haven't done anything on there in a while. Hey, Jane. Hey, Matt. Hey, Anders. Hey, Clay. Hey, everyone. Clays. Sorry, not Clay. Clays. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I like your shirt.
Yeah, man. Hey, yeah, I'm glad you got the memo to wear your uniform for this stream. I don't know if my lettering's too low or your lettering's too high, because it's not quite matching here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone's got the counterfeit version, I think.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably like 100 different brands that immediately made this, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think this came from Primark in the UK, or Primani for my UK viewers. And I believe, that's a legit store. I believe they had the license, but I'm in Mexico City right now, and, there's no rules out there. So I'm seeing so many different versions all over the place in street markets and what have you. But yeah, I feel like it's entered Guns N' Roses band t-shirt territory, where people are wearing these around here and probably haven't even seen the show. It's just a cool t-shirt to some people.
Yep, I agree. Anyway, I agree.
We're not on commission, but we are in uniform. Right, everybody. So we're here. Sorry, Chad.
I said we'll take commission, though. Like, we're not.
We will happily accept commission. But Matthew Stokes is enjoying the cuteness of our matching vibe. So we're here to talk about the Bad Batch. But first, just a quick word on The Mandalorian. You can have more than one word, but let's put a few words into discussing the Mandalorian trailer, which dropped this week. How did it leave you feeling, Chad?
I'm pretty stoked for the new season. I think it's going to be, we got so spoiled, in my opinion, with Andor, as far as the live action shows go. But I think Mando will be fun. It'll be a lot more fun than Andor was. Like, probably no one can question that. But I just loved that show so much that I can't help but wonder if I'm going to be extra negative to this season just because of that. But I'm going to try not to be, because I really loved how season 2 ended. So, and the trailer made me excited. I think there's a lot of awesome stuff, and all those Star Wars. The reasons we love Star Wars is always in that show, I think. Like, they managed to bring it out.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun trailer. I always feel like, a trailer's designed to get you excited. So it's done its job. It's a fun trailer. And I think those who are maybe bored by Andor, who didn't enjoy it as much as a lot of people did, I think they're going to be quite satisfied to have Mando back. But yeah, I thought it was a fun trailer. Definitely got me excited. And what, we're like a month, 6 weeks away, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it early March?
It's March 1st, right? I think.
Yeah. But of course, it's going to be picking up from the end of season 2, which was a wonderful ending. It's going to be picking up from 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
I do think about people that never watched the Book of Boba Fett. Maybe casual Star Wars fans enjoyed The Mandalorian, and they must be like, what? The last I saw, he clearly left, and now he's back in Mando's arms.
Right. I think no one is really upset that he's back, though. I think everyone wanted him to be. I was a little upset at it because I felt like Book of Boba was just a way for them to reverse what the entire season 2 was about. But that's just how it is, and I still think I'm excited to see them together. So
yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure the Disney money men and women are as well. I think there used to be one, Peter, a Geeknd hoodie on that YouTube store, but I don't know if it's still on. I'll look into that. I should really sort of try and make this channel a professional outfit and provide an outfit as well. Jane Flake says, Andor was a real treat of dark Star Wars, but Mando should be an adventure and fun. And Matthew Stokes adds, somehow Grogu returns. I guess when they do the recap for the previous 2 seasons of Mando at the beginning of Mando season 3, they're going to have to include clips from the Book of Boba, aren't they, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all you'd need to include, really. I think that was everything.
Peter's great hopes for Mando, and Skywalker Green is here. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to you. It has been too long. I'm doing good. Thank you, my friend, and I hope you are too. Right, we're here for the Bad Batch, so let's talk about the Bad Batch. That kind of makes sense. So let's start with episodes 1 and 2. That's how the season began, with 2 dropping in 1 a few weeks back now. I caught up with all of them actually just a few days ago, and we'll start with episodes 1 and 2, which for me, I don't have too much to say, to be honest. Solid openers. The series still looks and sounds great, but they just, for me, the first 2 episodes, just okay. Fun enough, good enough to keep me interested, but not enough to have me counting down the days to the next one. How are you feeling about episodes 1 and 2, my friend Chad?
I thought it was definitely, it was fine, but it was kind of less of a exciting return than I was hoping for. I thought the show, how it started last year with that 70-minute episode.
Well,
that was fantastic. And I was so that's what sold me on it. So this one didn't not sell me. But it just felt like, it would have been episodes, 6 and 7 of last season. So it fit in great, but I'm not sure if it was new season hurrah adventurous, but it was fun, a good solid episodes, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, they were fine. It just wasn't the season opening bang that you might have expected. I think you might have said this, Chad, in our Patreon discussion. It almost felt like mid-season filler in a way.
Yeah, and I think it did. There wasn't usually in these things there's a reintroduction for season 2 to these characters, and we kind of got that, but not really. It just felt like another adventure, and that's okay. Omega, I will say, they did show some growth on her character. She was better at fighting, but I don't know. Again, there was nothing wrong with them. I think it just seemed less exciting because it was the first one.
Mm-hmm. A few words from the chat here. Power Droid Girl, Leona says 1 and 2 were fun. 3 was great. We're going to come on to that. 4 is probably more important than at first thought. Jane Flake says Omega is greatly improved in her skills. She is becoming more equal with the boys. She is also more likable as well. And Matthew Stokes here says building Dooku with the audio novel, the episodes from Tales of the Jedi, and now this, they're fleshing out him nicely, which is great. if you like Dooku. I like Dooku. Do you like Dooku?
I do. I loved his part in Tales of the Jedi. I actually thought like Ahsoka's part was kind of like, it's fine. But I was totally involved with the Dooku stuff. So now, yes, I'm much more involved with him and like him a lot more than I used to as a character.
And it definitely, as Mr. Matthew Stokes said, definitely fleshing him out, building him up, left, right, and center in terms of Star Wars output right now. Powder Girl referenced episode 3 as being a great one. I would definitely call it an elevating episode for the season. It could have been that opening bang, if you like. It was, again, coming from a place where, it's not... I don't get very excited for the animated Star Wars series like The Bad Batch, but this was, I can't fault this. It was well crafted, really well written, looked lovely and dark, sounded super, and I genuinely in the last season too, but in this episode also enjoy the trials and tribulations of Crosshair. I just want to see the guy finish a meal. And we had a lot in this episode. We had battle droids. We had droidicars. I don't know if I ever say that right. I heard the first time we heard that was a Nemoidian saying it, wasn't it? We had Cody. And Cody. Interestingly, we had no Bad Batch unless you count Crosshair in that. And it was the most enjoyable episode. Actually, to skip ahead out of the 4 for me. Darker visually, subject-wise darker as well. The soundtrack, as I mentioned before as well, was particularly superb in this episode.
This episode 3 is the one that I was kind of hoping the first one would be. Honestly, like just something that really brings you back. I totally understand why they push it though, because it doesn't involve anything. If you had jumped right in that as a season premiere, like that's almost too deep and dark. So you did need to have some warm up to it. But like, dang, I love Commander Cody. So that whole story, Commander Cody going AWOL, completely makes sense.
You've seen Jane's comment here.
Oh, yeah, exactly, Jane. I just thought the whole thing was really, really good. That was an episode of Star Wars that, like, when I know they've got it perfect, that was it. Not once, because when I'm watching from home, it is very easy for me to like at one point just check my phone for no real reason. It's just like an impulse. If I never checked my phone during your thing, like that was fantastic. So I have zero qualms with that episode. Episode 3 is 10 out of 10 for me. That is a perfect.
Wow.
Because what could you say was wrong with it?
No, again.
I'm not saying you are.
No, I don't think you can fault that episode. It was, again, like I said, just beautifully crafted in all the right departments. A few comments here. Jane Flake says, Cody going AWOL shows that he has regrets about the Jedi too. Poor lad. Clay's also a word on that as well. Yeah, Cody Prob has a hard time with the Kenobi situation. So, yeah, I'm sure we're going to see him pop up again and have that fleshed out more. Peter also thinks that Cody will be back. I'm sure of it. Jane Flake says as well, in general here, however, every episode so far has had a new dark edge, possibly hinting at a sad arc to come. Yeah, this was out of the 4 for me, definitely the standout episode. Episode 3 had Indiana Jones and his dad vibes, says Peter there. Powder Girl, the Memorial Wall was an unexpected move, giving the clones another layer of emotion and brotherhood.
Was it episode 3 or episode 2? I think episode 2 had the Indiana Jones vibes where who was it? Was it Tech or Echo that was holding Omega as she's holding the treasure, and then it's the
it was episode 2. You're right. Dooku's gaff. I
think that was episode.
Was it? I think it was Echo, wasn't it? I feel like Tech had his episode in episode 4.
Yeah. You're right. Was that episode 2? I think it was, because I definitely agree. It was literally Indiana Jones, like exactly. And they just did a bunch of Indiana Jones references in Andor. If you've looked at like the things that were in the shop and all that, multiple Indiana Jones things. So it's all coming back.
all coming back, baby. Mr. Matthew Stokes says we've had different flavors of Star Wars already. I think that's definitely fair to say. He continues deep canon pools with Serrano, real life pools with things like the Monument to the Fallen, and a callback to the fun side of things with pod racing. So that neatly takes us into episode 4. What do you want to say about that one, Chad? After the high of episode 3, the 10 out of 10 rating, a lot to live up to.
Yeah, I think episode 4 was fine. I think some things that were introduced in it will become like better as it goes. At the moment, it was my least favorite episode of the season. That said, again, we got really spoiled with Andor. Andor was a show where every episode mattered. It was kind of like, 24 or Breaking Bad, where if you skip an episode, you're lost. You don't know what you just missed. Whereas Clone Wars, and I mean, there's even a Clone Wars list that's like, here's the half of the show that's essential. Rebels has episodes you can skip. Even Mandalorian, I'd argue, has episodes you could skip and still get the story. And so did Bad Batch season 1. So we're going to have episodes like that. For me, it was still an enjoyable episode. I didn't have anything wrong with it. I tolerate those episodes more in a cartoon than I do in a live action thing. And I think that's just because it's a cartoon. So I'm accustomed to it being, one-off, a nonsense episode. Whereas in live action, I'm accustomed to things like CSI or NCIS having nonsense episodes, and that's why I don't watch those shows. So that's me. I will excuse it more in an animated, so I will say that it was still fine, but it's skippable.
Yeah, but as you alluded to, and I think Powder Girl said earlier as well, we're probably going to find this episode to be more important than we initially thought, perhaps further down the line. Again, I thought it was fine. It's back into the category of Eps 1 and 2. It was colorful. It was definitely fun and energetic. We spent more time, or I think even the most time, with Sid. So there's a bit of exploration there with Sid's character, and it honed in more on Amiga Tech and Wrecker, who accompanied Sid to the Riot Racing, right? Racing.
Which, and Wrecker's my favorite character, and I thought Wrecker was barely in like the first 2 episodes. So it was nice for me to see Wrecker get some more screen time. I kind of like it's just such a fun guy. So I really enjoyed that one, but I am excited for more Crosshair. I think Crosshair has slowly become everyone's kind of favorite character for an episode of, just because now we're like, oh, this is actually going somewhere, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, more Crosshair focused episodes I'd be very happy with. And again, just honing in on 3 of the Bad Batch in this episode worked for me actually as well. And getting a little bit more into Sid's character. And the Riot Racing was pretty fun, visually and audially, if that's the word. It takes you right back, obviously, to the Phantom Menace with the pod racing there. It was pod racing with even less rules and regulations, wasn't it?
Yes. I was almost disappointed that they didn't just bring back pod racing. Now I understand though, Mando, was it in Book of Boba Fett?
Didn't pod racing get banned in a lot of in the end? I don't know if this is canon, but when we were writing some episodes of Lightspeed tonight, hey, remember that thing? We were researching it, and somewhere, whether it's canon or not, in the end, pod racing got banned pretty much across the galaxy, I think. But I don't know if that's true, actually.
Well, see, now I don't know where that's from, but I believe it. If they had maybe...
Someone will know in the chat.
Yeah, if they had maybe mentioned something like that, that'd be great. I thought Sonic did a good job doing the voice there of the racing character. That's the guy who does the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog in the movies. What's his name? Ben Schwartz, is it? I don't know.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he did the voice. Wanda Sykes was in the first episode. I always like Wanda Sykes, so I'll take that. Some good guest stars overall in the whole thing.
Yeah. No, I think again, same category as episodes 1 and 2. It was fun. It was ultimately just fine, but I don't think you can quite call it filler. I think particularly when you consider the time spent, the character development with Sid and even Tech actually as well. You know, stepping up to the race, winning the race as well. So maybe not the deepest character development, and maybe this episode will be more important than we currently know eventually. But yeah, I don't think you can quite call this one filler, but it was just fine for me.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. Gaz Nottingham in the chat with first off, hey Gaz. So we need a Mario Kart style game for Star Wars, and this is perfect. I agree. Didn't we have one? It was like Bombad Racing for the N64.
Well, there was a pod racing game, wasn't there? The arcade game.
I'm pretty sure that's Mario Kart.
N64.
Like they tried to make it Mario Kart style. I'm gonna look that up, because this could be one of those things that I'm just thinking existed and did not. Oh yeah, Star Wars Super Bombad Racing for the PS2, complete with like comical giant heads and everything. Yes,
I don't remember that. I just remember the pod racing game.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Yeah, 2001. So like when we were in between waiting for episode 2, they came out with that.
Yeah, Phantom Menace was 99, wasn't it? And speaking of episode 2, there was a pod racing race on the screen in episode 2 in the sports bar where Obi-Wan, that is where the classic Death Sticks moment happens, isn't it? Power Droid Girl points out. So let's catch up with the comments. We've gone through our thoughts on the first 4 episodes of the Bad Batch. I think, should we do an overall, once I've caught up with the comments, should we do an overall rating for the 4 episodes, or should we rate them individually? What do you reckon?
That's good. I would say I would love to see, if people want to, rate them individually and then say what you think so far. So that I can do both. But if you just want to do like so far, do that.
Yeah, if you want to do so far, put so far or overall rating, or give us the individual breakdown ratings. Right, Jane Flake says Crosshair had a similar moment to Agent Callus in Rebels, and I've seen your next comment as well, Jane. I think I'm the only one who's not all the way through Rebels, so I think it's safe to put this on with Callus. He eventually became a Rebel spy. Sorry, Jamie, for the spoiler. Yeah, you will be. I have not got that far yet, but I think I'd already read that somewhere, or one of you lot spoiled it for me in the past, I'm sure, anyway. Excuse me. Peter says, yep, in Endor we had the indie balls on the shelf. Yeah, we had all sorts of Easter eggs on those shelves, didn't we, in the antique store? Where else am I? Jane Flake says, have they set up Sid to eventually betray them? But it breaks her heart to do it. There's something happening there. They're brewing something there, aren't they, Chad?
Yeah, maybe. I was wondering if that would eventually happen, or if it's like we have a whole arc where Sid is like going to betray them, but then ultimately decides not to and warns them, or she does betray them and then feels guilty, so then she tells them right before they come. Something like that will probably happen. What I would love is if that happens, we go real dark and Sid still gets killed.
I think this series has it in it to do that. It's proven it can be dark already, you know? Yeah, that'd be interesting. Jane Flakes points out that if they had pod racing, humans would not be able to do it, not even Tech. Of course, Anakin was the only human, right, to pod race, certainly circa Phantom Menace.
Right. I think as far as I know.
Matthew Stokes says Crosshair is a good villain, relatable because he comes from the same place as our heroes, but just has a different perspective. That perspective is also understandable. Good soldiers follow orders. After all, good point there from Mr. Matthew Stokes. We had that already. We've discussed that, but you've had a second moment in the sun, Gaz Nottingham. Power Droid Girl says, we've already done that as well, but you've had a second moment in the sun, Power Droid Girl. Matthew Stokes says, as a motorsport fan myself, I'll take more racing of any sort. So that ticked a very big box.
So Matthew enjoyed that episode. That's good.
Yeah. And did you play Super Bombad Racing then, Matt?
Me? Matt. Okay.
Well, no, I was asking Matt, but yeah, I would like to know if you played it as well, Chad. I know you had memories of it.
I know I did. I don't remember a ton of it. Like it must have been okay. I didn't own a PlayStation 2. I had like GameCube, I think was the version of the time for Nintendo, and they didn't have it on there that I'm aware of. So I just played it at like a friend's house once or twice.
Yeah, me and my little bro back in my gaming days, we were a Nintendo family. So we did have we had one of the Rogue Squadron games, whichever was on the N64, possibly GameCube as well. We definitely had the pod racing game, and also the game, was it Shadows of the Empire?
Yeah.
Yes, had that too.
Great.
Right, I think we've got some ratings coming in, I can see here. Matthew Stokes also adds that the Pod Racer arcade game was great. Gaz Nottingham says they have pod racing on Malice there. Very fast, very dangerous. Qui-Gon Jinn said it himself. Right, okay, I can see ratings coming in, and there's a lot of numbers here, so I think most people have gone for the individual.
Good.
And Matthew Stokes has confirmed that he did play it, I think. PS2 was fun.
Okay, I thought it was PS2.
Right. Okay. Jane Flakes. Ratings for 1 plus 2 equals. I can't even make sense of that. Can you make sense of that? This is Jane
12.
always has her interesting rating system. You have to remember. She has her own
12.
unique rating system. Just numbers on the screen there, Jane. Thank you. Gaz Nottingham. Episode 1, 9.1. Episode 2, 9.1. Episode 3, 9.5. Episode 4, the lowest, 8.6. But, all very high scores there. So a satisfying start to season 2 of the Bad Batch for Gaz Nottingham. Meanwhile, Peter, who I know didn't have much fun with Andor, let's see how he's feeling with the Bad Batch. Episode 1, 7, 2, 7, 3, 9. 4 equals fan service, so 0.
I want to challenge that. Peter, what was fan servicey about that, I guess? I mean, besides that, it made you think of pod racing, but there's so many things in Star Wars that are fan service. I'd argue Luke appearing at the end of Mandalorian is largely fan service. What's his name? The blue hitman guy. Why can I not remember his name? From Clone Wars appearing in Book of Boba. It could have been anyone. Him.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, Cad Bane. Thank you. Yes. So for me, that's fan service. I think Star Wars is full of fan service. But I disagree that it automatically gets a 0 for being fan service. And for me, Andor was the one thing that wasn't fan service, I think, that Star Wars has done recently. Yeah, Cad Bane. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Everybody, correct.
I'm just interested to hear. Not that I disagree. Well, I do disagree that it's a 0, but not that I think it's wrong to have a different rating. I'm just interested in that.
Yeah, Peter, the floor is yours. Come back to Chad. But yeah, I have no problem with fan service, to be honest. But I have no problem with Peter having a problem with fan service. But anyway, where are we? We did Peter's. Power Droid Girl.
Yep.
Eps 1 and 2 both get 6 out of 10. Ep 3, 8 out of 10. Ep 4, 6 out of 10. They feel like old school Saturday morning cartoons, which is something that you alluded to yourself, Chad, and therefore it's forgivable in your minds when there's a kind of side questy type episode. Matthew Stokes, the PS2 comment there. Glaze, episode 1, 7 out of 10. Same for 2. Episode 3, 9.5. Episode 4, 6.5. So I think it looks like 4. Well, if you throw Peter's 0 into the mix, 4 on average definitely got the lowest score so far. But I think even without Peter's 0, it seems to be the weakest episode in terms of the scores we're looking at. This is Gaz in talking about episode 4. Defo enjoyed this episode. Much needed character development for Tech that was called for last season. Okay. James made it easier for me, I think, here now. What are we doing? Is this 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 7 episode? No, hang on. Are you giving a 7 for episodes 1 and 2 there? Yes, Jane, I think you are. Episode 3 is a 9. Episode 4 is a 6. So again, 4 gets the lowest. And these are all out of 12, of course, because it's Jane. And Jane is Imperial, don't you know? That was...
I agree,
Book of Boba Fett, wasn't it? That was Book of Boba Fett. And did we ever see him again after he delivered the Rancor?
No.
I don't think we did.
No. Well, was he in the
Rancor? We saw the Rancor again.
Was he in the last episode? I can't remember if he came back. Because the last episode had
Rancor was back
from the series came back and smiled at the camera at one point during that. It was such a messy, ridiculous B movie. I did not. I hated the ending.
With the Power Rangers there and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the Rancor. I remember the Rancor coming back. I don't know if Danny T joined him. Was he just delivery man? Was he just like I thought he was a Rancor delivery service?
Yeah. He had a good scene where he connected with it, but I I wish we could have seen more of him. Oh my gosh, we're almost at 30 minutes. We got to wrap it up.
Oh, all right, let's get the final comments in, and Chad will come for your individual scores as well once I've done these free comments here. I can see if I've missed anything, copy and paste it back in if I've missed your score or anything in particular. Jane Flake says, I'm a fan. I like that they put these things in for us. It's fun. Also be a huge nerd. I enjoy spotting the hints, etc. Peter, this was too much. Pod racing we've already done, so not creative. Put some effort in there, Lucas Disney people. So it was the pod racing for Peter. That was the fan service. Silverhawk says, loved every episode so far, even if you think the last episode was filler. What they did for Sid's character will have heavy implications for the rest of the season. Sid went from one side to from a side character to a main character in this episode. Thank you for that, Silverhawk. Hope you're doing well, by the way. And Gaz says, as a fan, I require fan service. I've already read that from Peter. So yeah, cool. Chad, let's have your individual ratings for the episode, please. Starting, naturally with episode 1.
All right. So episode 1, they pretty much tied from episode 1 and 2. Everyone's kind of said 7, and I agree with that. It was a 7. Wasn't exceptional, but wasn't bad at all. It was fine. It was nice to have the show back at all. Episode 3 is a 10. I have zero qualms with it. I cannot find anything to bring it. Like normally I'm like 9.5, but I can't find any reason to not give it a 10. So I'm going to give it a 10. And then episode 4, currently, I'll give it a 6. But I think things were set up in it that later I'll be able to rate it higher. Peter, I agree. That said, lightsaber fights have already been done too, and I can't get enough of those. So I as a fan, I enjoy the fan service once in a while. If the whole show starts being like callbacks to things, then I'm going to be done. But 1 out of 16 episodes I'll take.
And you've got a fair judgment comment from, from you, but from Matthew Stokes there. Also, fair point there from Peter too. So people like you, Chad, it seems. All right, so I'm going to give my individual ratings now for the episodes. And this is in the context of the Bad Batch, including season 1. This doesn't, I'm not comparing these. I don't want people to compare the scores I give to the scores I gave for any Andor episodes, for example. So in the context of the Bad Batch so far, including season 1. And also remember, 5 is average. So anything above 5 is above average.
I know.
I'm going to give a 6.
A 6 for all of them. I'm waiting.
No, I'm giving a 6 for episode. Actually, just like you, tied episodes 1 and 2. They're both getting a 6. I'm going to skip ahead and give episode 4 a 6 as well. Episode 3, again, in the context of the Bad Batch, I think along with the opener pilot one we had, picking up with Order 66 and moving on from there, I think it's the best Bad Batch we've had. So in the context of the Bad Batch, I could give it a 10 actually, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay. That's high praise. I mean, a 9
yeah, man.
is high praise. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go, everybody. So, it seems like everybody overall is at least enjoying these episodes. Great chat with Chad and the great leader. Good points. Oh, well made. Thank you, Jane. Gaz Nottingham, Space Whales equals payoff, just requires patience and engagement with what is presented. Yeah, we got a long way to go. And this overlaps with The Mandalorian, doesn't it? We got a lot more Bad Batch episodes to come.
I think it's our first Star Wars thing to ever overlap. Well, I guess Tales from the Jedi did.
Yeah.
But that was all kind of released at once. It was a little different. So it'll be interesting to see if it's too much or I don't know. I'm excited either way.
Yeah, well, we've gone over 33 minutes. We can all blame Chad. He is here. He could have, literally just left the stream if he really was, that dedicated to his timekeeping. just under 34 minutes in our time because we're probably slightly ahead of the YouTube stream. But Clay says, great show, guys. Have a good one all. Thank you, everybody. For joining us. We will be back on a weekly basis for The Mandalorian, but we'll pop back up again in another 3 or 4 episodes time, probably 4. It seems to make the most sense. Chad, if you're around, you're more than welcome to come back. People seem to like you. Thank you, everybody. I hope you've had a great start to the new year. So, Mr. Matthew Stokes, we'll see you in the next 3 to 4 episodes, probably 4. And again, every week once Mando starts, we'll be doing it. Thank you as well, Gaz Nottingham. Thank you, Peter. And we will Start waving, everybody. All right. We're waving in our uniform.
Bye, guys.
Don't forget your uniform for the next stream, everybody. I'm clicking end broadcast now. So keep waving. Waving, keep. Keep waving. Waving, keep. Keep waving. Keep